A little, so bear with me for just 1 second. I have here another donation for Up on the Slopes, $100. And I guess the first thing I want to ask you guys is, hi. Louder. Louder?
Yes.
Okay. I guess the first thing that I would really like to ask you guys, how you doing today? I think we raised about $56,000, right?
Yeah.
We can get the feeling butt. Yeah. Hold on. There's more. Okay. So I just wanted to share a little bit about who I am, really. So you guys have a little bit of perspective as to why I'm here. But back in the day, probably 1991 or so, I worked up here, and I worked up here for about 5.5, 6 years. And this place to me is pretty much my home. I haven't really lived anywhere else as long as I've lived here, and I really did a lot of growing here. And I'm going to be talking louder. I feel like I'm shouting.
Hold the mic close.
Just hold it right next to your mouth.
Hold the mic close, you'll be fine.
Okay. Alright, so, is that better?
Yeah.
Alright. So yeah, I lived here for a really long time. This place is super special to me. So when I was asked to come up here and speak, I flipped because, I love to talk and I love this place. So I really felt honored. About a year ago, on the 24th of March last year, I got diagnosed completely out of the blue with a stage 4 rare liver cancer, and all of the statistics told me that I wouldn't be standing here right now. Nobody actually said it to my face, but everything I looked at online told me that I would be dead probably in about 6 months. Since then, it's been a year ago, so I've made my own statistics, which I plan on doing, and I hope that everybody else here feels the same way. Make your own statistics, you're not a statistic. The second thing is that you all really have to pay attention. You have to be advocates for your own health care. When I first got cancer, you never expect to hear those words, you have cancer, until it actually happens to you. And then the first thing that comes to your head is, well, lots of things come to your head, but the first thing that came to my head is, holy crap, why me? Why? I'm healthy, I was 38 years old, I hike, I ski, I thought I ate really well, but what I found out was that I really wasn't as healthy as I thought I was, because it's really hard to be healthy these days. It's actually harder to be healthy than it is to not be healthy. You're really duped by all of the advertising and by pretty much everything that you encounter when you walk inside your grocery store. 98% of everything in that grocery store is going to be bad for you. You really shouldn't eat it. It's all about being aware of what's on your labels. What are you putting into your mouth? You are what you eat. You literally are what you eat. So if you're not putting good things into your body's not going to recognize what this food is. These chemicals, these things that aren't natural, and it actually messes up your DNA replication process. You could have cancer in your body right now and not even know it. Most of us do. Most of us have all this cancer, but our bodies are so good at getting rid of it that it never develops into anything, and we never know that it was even there in the first place. It's only when we really start neglecting ourselves, getting stressed out all the time, telling ourselves, I should be doing this and I should be doing that, and not giving yourself enough time for yourself, trying to take care of everything else and everyone else in your world but you. And everyone pretty much knows that you can't take care of anyone else in your world unless you take care of yourself first. You have to be good to yourself. And being good to yourself is putting really good things into your body, putting really good things on your body. Your skin is your largest organ on your body, so you naturally want to put something on your skin that isn't going to be bad for you. You don't want to put chemicals. And just for putting things on your body or in your mouth, and you read the label and you're like, oh, well, this is wonderful. This says it's organic, This says it's healthy for me. This says it's got 100% of my daily calcium in it. You know, this one says it's, you know, got all my fiber and everything that I need. Well, you flip that label over and you look at it, and there might be one organic ingredient in there that there's, you know, we're able to call this thing, you know, organic. And then there's also, you know, all these things you can't pronounce, you know. And then there's the blue lakes and the red lakes and the numbers and the polys and all these other things. And these things are just, they were never meant to be in your food in the first place, and they were never meant to be in your body. So that's the biggest thing that changed my life when I found out I had cancer. I said, you know what? There is one thing in this world that I can control, and that's what I eat. What I eat and what I put on my body. And ever since I've been doing that, about a year ago now, to be honest, I have cancer. And I've got stage 4 cancer. They say it's incurable, which to me means I have to cure it from the inside out. But I feel better than I have felt in over 15 years of my life. Because I took control. And, I mean, when I first got diagnosed with cancer, it was a big, big job. I mean, anyone that's ever had that diagnosis knows that from that moment, your life is completely different. Everything changes. Your job is now becoming a full-time healing junkie. You gotta do research, you know, unless you just don't care anymore and you're like, okay, you know, I have cancer and I'll just live with that and just keep on doing what I'm doing. But obviously what you're doing must not have been that good to put you in the place that you're in. So you make this lifestyle change, and you instantly, within the first couple of days, you feel better. You know, even though I had cancer, I felt better than I felt, forever. IBS, they said, you have IBS. That's what doctors call things that they don't know what else to call it. You know, they lump you into a category because maybe I never had the CAT scan because maybe the insurance company didn't want to pay for it, or who knows why. But, you know, you really have to take control. You know that there's something in your body that just is not right. You know that there's something that you're not feeling right and nobody can figure it out and everybody's telling you the same old story. Just, you really gotta fire that doctor and go find another one. They work for you. You know, you hire them. They are working for you, so you definitely need to go out and see something and someone who's going to be working with your best interest in mind. And the last thing that I want to leave you guys with is a little dream that I have. And I call myself the cancer assassin, mostly because I really needed a way to take a bad situation and kind of put a little bit of humor into it. And so I have a blog, I have a website. I've been doing this. I started it just to kind of have a place so I could stay sane, communicate with all my family and friends, let them know how I'm doing so I wouldn't be spending all my time trying to do that instead of healing myself. So what started out as this place to just let my family and friends know how I was doing is turning into a place that I want to share with everybody. And what the whole idea of this is community. I need your input. I want to know what you want to know. How can you be healthy? What do you want to know? Do you want to know what's the best shampoo that I can use, or what can I use instead of bleach to clean my toilet, or you know, where's your favorite place to shop, or you know, whatever. This is going to be a resource for people so that they don't have to spend all that time that I had to spend when I first got diagnosed with cancer doing all this research and feeling completely overwhelmed by everything that's going on in their life. And hopefully what I want to create is this place where everybody can go, anybody can go, especially people that just got diagnosed with cancer, so that way they don't have to feel so overwhelmed. And there is a place for everyone else in the world to go and find all these resources for you to be healthy. I also want to start a juice bar and an education center. And I live in Portland, and I don't know if many of you have seen the show on TV, Portlandia, but it's quite a perfect place to start kind of a healthy venture like that. If you want to know a little bit more about my blog or my website, if you want to know anything at all about how to be healthy, not get cancer, I have some brochures here I brought for you. Tells you a little bit more about me and about about the things that I just started talking about, and there's also some business cards. I would love it if you guys got on my blog and said, hey, look, ask me your question, whatever your question is. I would love to try to help you find the answer to it if I don't feel like I know something about it already. And then the very last thing that I would like to say is, I would not be standing here today if it wasn't for every single one of you people and all your support and help. And it is, you can't even describe the feeling that you get knowing that there are all these people out there in your corner rooting for you, and they're on your side there, and half the battle of having cancer and surviving cancer is your attitude, and really just, you have to stay positive, and sometimes, you give into these little days and you feel down every now and then, and that's cool, you gotta let that pass, but every single one of these people sitting in this room, and so many others out there, I love you all. You guys just rock. You're here today for such a good cause, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Lots of people out there